Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of the Bolt City Podcast. Dave Palais, Josh Palais, Mario Heron doing another live show. How's this? So here's the plan. We plan on doing live shows from here on out if things go well until somebody messes up. My bet's still on Mario to be the one that swears, but we're
Hurtful.
going to keep this thing
Hurtful.
clean. It's hurtful, but you know what? I'm an odds guy. And my odds are that you're going to be the one that in these live shows. So here's the deal. If you're the first time watching on YouTube, please give us the like button. We want the like button at the same time. Please push subscribe. Helps us keep the show going. And of course, listen to the show all the way through. Even if you walk away, you have to go to work, go to the grocery store, whatever. Hey, time spent listening is helpful as well. So again, it's great doing live shows. Here we are, Charger off season. And guys, it's one thing I want to touch on to start is I was with a buddy of mine today, Charger season ticket holder, and he's arguing with me what direction they should go in the draft. And I think this is what we're going to hear over and over again. And this is what we're going to see in our messages. Do they go offensive line? Do they go defensive line? Do they go wide receiver? Do they go tight end? And my argument back with the guy that I was with today, when I said we wanted Brock Bowers, the tight end, he was like, we don't need a tight end. And I was like, absolutely, the Chargers need a tight end. And Brock Bowers is one of those unique tight ends that I think a lot of us have put in the category of a Travis Kelce type, a guy that is so tough to defend. Do you cover him with the safety? Do you cover him with the linebacker? What do you do on mismatches? Josh, I'm going to ask you first. If you had to choose one, okay, would you rather have basically an A-plus wide receiver, an A-plus tight end?
An A-plus wide receiver. An A-plus tight end. Receivers that are A-pluses come way more often than tight ends that are A-pluses. Would you guys agree with that?
I would.
There is, right? There's usually a handful of guys in the NFL that are receivers that you'd say are A receivers or A-plus receivers. It doesn't necessarily mean their teams are going to win. And even if you have a big-time tight end, it doesn't mean you're going to win. But the chances of your team being very good and going deep in the playoffs are much higher if you have a big-time tight end. The two greatest quarterbacks ever, I think, are going to be Patrick Mahomes and, Tom Brady, obviously. Their number one targets were tight ends, Rob Gronkowski and Travis Kelce. Why would you not want that for Justin Herbert? Get a big-time tight end and build with him throughout his career, just like Phillip Rivers and Antonio Gates. Unfortunately for us Charger fans, we actually had the big-time tight end that didn't even amount to a Super Bowl appearance, which is crazy. But that's the Chargers of the past and the Chargers of the future. I plan on them getting Brock Bowers and having that big-time tight end for the future and Justin Herbert. Also, I would take Brock Bowers over Marvin Harrison Jr. I know I'm crazy for saying that, but I really would.
All right, we're starting off going crazy. We're getting nuts. Shout out to shout out to Santa. Let's keep on his nice list this year. Josh, I kind of agree with you. It's a new age of football right now. In the new age of football, you have to have a tight end in order to be successful. I've said this over and over again, but look at the four teams remaining this past year. Look at the year before that, year before that. All of them had a star tight end, and they're important not in the passing game, but in the run game as well. And it's something that is very much needed in a franchise that dominates, right? And it goes along with needing a pass rusher, needing a franchise QB. Like a tight end spot is just as important and just as there. If I had my pick of Marvin Harrison Jr. or Brock Bowers, maybe it's the growing up in the Midwest. Maybe it's the Big Ten that gets electrocuted into you as soon as you're born here in these parts. But I will say Marvin Harrison Jr. still just because of the Midwest stuff. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, there's just a certain thing. I've every time I watch him, I was like, it would just be so great to cheer for this guy in the NFL. I think it's a win-win either way, Dave. It's always a win-win. And I just want to start off on a positive note because I know we're gonna be ranking QBs, and I just was doing my rankings last night, and I was looking at it this morning, and I was just like, I was getting ready for battle. Like, I feel like I was Jon Snow getting ready for the Battle of the Bastards. Like, I was getting ready for war.
All right. So a couple things right here. A lot of things are win-win with the Chargers, right? Whether they get Harrison, whether they get Neighbors, whether they get Bowers, whether they get Joe Alt from Notre Dame. I mean, they're going to be fine. Okay. And this is assuming, again, that they aren't trading back. We're assuming that they stay with pick number 5. There's not one guy where we're going to sit there and shake our head and go, oh, they blew it. Out of those guys right there. I mean, if it's something crazy, which I just don't expect them to do something crazy with the new GM and a new head coach, they're going to get somebody that we all know. So at pick 5, you should get somebody that should basically change your franchise. Instant starter. That's the way it's supposed to go. You draft someone in the first round, that guy becomes an instant starter. For me, Harrison Jr., yeah, he's a fantastic wide receiver. I watched a ton of Ohio State games. Here's the difference for me with Bowers is the reason I want him is I watch a ton of Georgia games. And when I watched him at Georgia, and as good as they were, I mean, Georgia only lost to one college football team the entire time he was there. Yeah, it was Alabama twice, in case anybody forgot. But at the same time, they only lost to one team. And when he played, it was so different watching Georgia football than it was when he didn't play. Even if they won the game, it wasn't the same game. And their head coach would tell you the same thing, and his teammates would tell you the same thing. He's a difference maker. Travis Kelce's a difference maker. So when you look at 4 of the last 5 world champions that have won Super Bowls, they've all had that tight end, right? Kelce has 3 of them. Gronkowski has 1 of them, right? It is that important. So when you look back even at the Chargers, and I know, Josh, you were talking about Antonio Gates, and you had Gates and you had LT. Yeah, Gates was outstanding, but Kellen Winslow was outstanding. I mean, the Chargers kind of started this whole thing, this whole tight end run, and people want to look back and go, guys, there was football before Kellen Winslow. Look, Dave Casper on the Raiders, if you want to bring him up, Mario lives in the Midwest, so, they still talk about Mike Ditka playing tight end. It's a joke. I mean, come on, you catch 20 passes a year. That's not, one of those where you go, oh, man, my mind is blown. I got it,
Ditka, baby.
Is that Mike Dick or is that Dick Butkus back there?
I actually have to check. I keep saying Ditka and Butkus. I actually really don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. He's only intercepting passes. But my point is, though, the tight end position has become such. That's what I thought. The tight end position has become so essential. And there's so many times, if you're a Charger season ticket holder, if you just watch the games on TV, you see what a mismatch Kelce is. We do shows twice a year. Can Derwin James keep Kelce in check, right? We do this all the time. And guess what? They end up winning the Super Bowl all the time. Or Gronkowski, has a ton of rings because it is that tough of a matchup. Harrison Jr. is going to be absolutely fine. I got it. But at the same time, if they're both available, Brock Bowers is my guy. It's not even close. Brock Bowers is my guy.
It has to be your guy. The reason why is because receivers get phased out of games all the time. Justin Jefferson, we would say, is the best receiver in the NFL. Are the Vikings one of the best teams in the NFL? No. And Justin Jefferson does everything in his power to win every game, right? The guy goes off all the time. Doesn't mean anything. Devontae Adams, amazing receiver for the Raiders. Raiders aren't great. Just because you have a great receiver doesn't mean the team's going to win. DeAndre Hopkins and Andre Johnson in Houston, right? They were always great. They never won anything. If you have a big-time tight end, you have the mismatch that everybody has to deal with. It's like having something that nobody else has. It's unique for every matchup with the Chargers. If you get Brock Bowers, every week in the NFL, you're going to go against a receiver that's great, and you can phase them out with a guy like Sauce Gardner or Jalen Ramsey when he was great, or whatever top corners there are nowadays, Patrick Surtain II. But if you have the tight end, it's a matchup nightmare. You're going to put a linebacker on him. Good luck guarding Brock Bowers with the linebacker guy that can run a 4.5, catch everything. You have no way of stopping him consistently, and I'd rather throw to the middle of the field than to the sides, Mario.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think the tight end position, too, to be so special at it, to be so good at it, you have to be such an insane, unique athlete. I think in the NFL, no one has really conquered on how to stop that, right? Like usually a linebacker is too slow, right? A safety isn't physical enough to handle a tight end. So it's that weird middle where like, all right, how do we guard this? How do we handle this? Like, what's the best way to play it? And each tight end's different, Some tight ends rely on the physicality or just finding that hole, and that's what Travis Kelce does. He just finds that hole that's open. His physicality helps, and he's open, he's there. Mark A just kind of does the same. George Kittle is a little bit more athletic, has a little bit more speed to him, can use that to his advantage. Kyle Pitts kind of like the same way, very unique athlete where he can use that to his advantage and really hurt linebacker safeties in those matchups. That's why it's so big. That's why it's so important where wide receivers, you see, you mentioned Justin Jefferson, insane. Best receiver in the NFL? Absolutely. But the thing is the NFL for the past, 10, 15 years has found ways and these unique ways to take receivers out of games. It's been worked on. Corners have been bred to do this, where it's like tight ends is this unique spot where like we don't really know how to handle it yet. And they line up in so many unique ways, right? Like sometimes they're on the line, sometimes they're not on the line. And finding the way to kind of handle that, I think is very, very hard for that position. It's something of need for the Chargers. It's something that they need to get. And I think it's a position that makes more sense for Harbaugh because he does preach this physical mentality and this hard-nosed football. Dave, that sounds more like a tight end spot than a receiver spot than anything else.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned Kyle Pitts. He's a guy that obviously I want to see what happens when he has obviously a decent quarterback, right? He had the running back in Atlanta, never had the quarterback. Seems like the Falcons still haven't figured out how to use him. So you kind of wonder. I do at least. I watched him in college a lot, and I thought he was outstanding. Seemed like he was always open. But man, when you watch him in the pros and they haven't used him, and here he has, started his career, he's considered a veteran, and he's been a big waste of space. It depends, your coach, your quarterback, and give me an example. Laporta from the Lions steps right in as a rookie and is a complete difference maker for what the Lions did this year. One game away from going to the Super Bowl, and how important he was to that offense. You have to have somebody that understands, how to use that tight end. And again, I think it helps Justin Herbert out. I think it helps Keenan Allen out, and whoever it is on the other side, whether it's Josh Palmer, who knows. But you need those guys that give you that little extra. And as much as, Gerald Everett did what he could as a tight end, he wasn't an elite tight end, and Herbert hasn't had that basically elite tight end to work with. And so that's just a whole nother issue on what the Chargers have had. I always think back to this, and I'm going to make you guys feel really bad right now when I bring this up, and Charger fans might fight with me on this one because I know, two of you guys love Phillip Rivers. Look, I love Phillip Rivers too. But if they would have kept Drew Brees and drafted Larry Fitzgerald instead of Phillip Rivers, and you would have had Drew Brees, LaDainian Tomlinson, Antonio Gates, and Larry Fitzgerald, all those guys are Hall of Famers. How good is that team?
Okay, first off, I hate when people do the whole, if they would have done this in the draft, like, okay, everybody can play that game. We could have drafted Christian McCaffrey instead of Mike Williams. You could do that for every draft.
Talk about it
do
all
you
the
not
time.
remember that do you not remember the fact that Drew Brees couldn't lift his arm over his head? Do you remember that part?
Then he drove home with his arm through the sunroof because his arm was stuck
he had
like
his arm
this.
out through the sunroof when he drove home from Qualcomm Stadium. You don't not remember that part?
I was
People
there.
thought that people thought that Drew Brees might not ever play quarterback again. His arm was so jacked up. We already know what happens with the Saints and everything like that. But I love Phillip Rivers. He's my favorite player of all time. And I thought Phillip Rivers was good enough for the Chargers to win a Super Bowl. Obviously, it never happened. But to go back to the tight end conversation, I don't think you can unlock Justin Herbert's potential without the big time tight end, Mario. You look at every great quarterback there's been in the last, 20 years. They've all had good tight ends or great tight ends. Every single one. You go Peyton Manning and Dallas Clark. He even made Julius Thomas a big time tight end with the Broncos. We talked about Gronkowski and Kelsey and even Kittle with the 49ers. You cannot have Justin Herbert grow into the quarterback we think he can be, because on this show right here and the people that are watching the show, we think Justin Herbert's great. But outside of our fan base, people are doubting whether he can be that guy. And if you don't get the big time tight end, I don't know if he can be to his full potential.
Yeah, it's definitely a thing that when you look into this year, I've already seen it just working on shows. If when you talk MVP and you talk about the 2024 season, the Charge get thrown around and Herbert gets thrown around. And the constant question is, where is Herbert? Is he that good? Are we putting, do we think too highly of Herbert? Do we think he's too good? Do we have too high of expectations? Are we put him on a pedestal that he shouldn't be on? And when you have all of that, it's like fair in a way. We're about to talk about QBs. I bet the things that we're going to say about Lamar, I bet the things we're going to say about Tua can also be said about Herbert. How many playoff wins does he have? 0. He still has 0. And you can say, yeah, did he have one of the best rookie years we've ever seen in the NFL? Yes, he has. He did. But what have we done since? What have you done for me lately? And when you look at all of that, you go, all right, well, what does he need in order to be successful? He needs that tight end spot. He needs that old reliable that all these guys got, that, Brees had with Jimmy Graham, that Brady had with Gronk, that Mahomes has with Kelsey, Purdy has with Kittle, and you need that. The Mark Andrews and Lamar list can go on, and he needs that. Just to rewind into the Rivers Brees thing, Dave. Counterpoint. Is Brees anything without Peyton?
Yeah, I thought Drew Brees was fine. I was a Drew Brees fan.
I was just asking.
I mean, I'm a Phillip Rivers fan too, but I was always a Drew Brees fan. And let's be honest, when they used to talk about, Marty this, Marty that, Marty hated him at first. He hated him for a long time. Remember, Doug Flutie was the guy, and then Brees. Do you remember the game where Brees jumped in right away and he immediately 3 touchdown passes? Was great. And then they go to play Pittsburgh. Oh, looking at Mario right now. I'm thinking Mario was 4 years old. But Brees goes into Pittsburgh, and Marty basically throws him away. Basically, I'm done with this guy. This guy's a joke. Man, I can't rely on him. He's not my guy. And the Brees kept sitting there chugging along, and from being an Indiana guy, you heard the stories about Drew Brees, that what Drew Brees did when he was at Purdue. Drew Brees, I was always a fan of. And, I'm a fan of Philip Rivers too. It's not a shot at Philip. I'm just saying one other guy. If you would have kept, you would add 4 Hall of Famers. That's not what I'm saying. You had 2 really good quarterbacks. Okay. But you don't need 2 quarterbacks on the field. So, yeah, I know that whole thing stinks. I want to go to what you're saying about Justin Herbert, because I think all 3 of us have never once shied away that Justin Herbert's very good. When people come after us and say, you guys, man, what do you mean, Herbert's this, Herbert's that? We're all fans, okay? All of us are fans of number 10. We got it. But at the same time, Mario brings up his rookie year. That's ages ago. And in the NFL, we forget really quick the way things work out and what you've done. And the thing is, Mario just said about winning games in the playoffs. If you don't win in the postseason, you're considered a bust. What's your problem? And so he hasn't won in the postseason. The problem is he's been surrounded by non-offensive coaches, guys to help expand his career and grow. And this is, to me, a very important season. Matter of fact, I think if you went to another part of the country, let's say you went to Green Bay, you went to Chicago, you go to New York, and you bring up Justin Herbert's name in a sports bar, they would tell you he's one of the most overrated guys in the NFL. And he doesn't get the credit that we all believe what he is. And let's be honest, what has he earned? What does it say on his resume? There's nothing there. Now, from our eye test, we're a huge fan. Matter of fact, we don't think you use him to all of his ability. He's capable of running. You guys weren't using him to run it all, to get those extra yards. Is Patrick Mahomes, do you consider him a running quarterback? Do you consider him an elusive quarterback? He's elusive. He's not super fast. Yeah, Patrick Mahomes is a guy that runs closer to a 5.0 than a 4.0. He's not the fastest guy, but man, when it's time to put the head down and get those extra yards, he does it. When he needs to roll out, he does it. And so far, Justin Herbert, his career has been disappointing. Let's be honest. It has been a disappointing career, and I guarantee he would say the same thing, that it has been disappointing. This is the year, and someone asked the question to us in the YouTube comments last show, does he need to step up this year to show what he really is? And I think the answer is yes. He needs to have a big year this year.
This year,
yes.
Not next year, not in 2 years. It's now. And we're all big Charger fans, so we're all on the Justin Herbert hype train. I will tell you right now, as Charger fans, it is going to get very ugly for us if Justin Herbert doesn't have a great season. I'm not talking about a good season. A lot of quarterbacks have good seasons in the NFL. I'm talking about great season, top-tier quarterback level. He has the big-time head coach. He has enough pieces around him, if people stay healthy, to have a great season. I think Justin Herbert needs to put on for the Chargers this year, because the Chargers obviously have no chance if he doesn't. So Justin Herbert absolutely needs to show out. People in Green Bay would probably tell you they take Jordan Love over Justin Herbert. Do we think that? Of course not. We're going to take Justin Herbert over almost every quarterback in the NFL, but he needs to show out this year. He can't go into his career this far and not win a playoff game. We can't argue that with other people and other fan bases and say he's a top quarterback. Then the argument's going to be, like Mario said, how many playoff wins does he have? And then you say 0, and then you walk away sad. So this is the year that Justin Herbert absolutely needs to win a playoff game. Chargers need to be relevant. They can't disappoint like they do all the time. And from here on out, Justin Herbert has to be consistently in the playoffs. It can't be he makes it 1 year and doesn't make it another year. Philip Rivers, that's a knock on him too, right? Chargers would make it for 2 years and they miss the playoffs. And they make it for 2 years and miss it 2 years. He has to make it every single year to be an elite quarterback. And he's going to do that. I think he's absolutely going to do that. First step is getting Brock Bowers.
It's a no excuses year. It's a no excuses. You have, for the first time, a stable head coach. For the first time, a head coach that really understands the game of football, understands the NFL, has had success in the NFL previously, and it's well established. And let's say you get Brock Bowers in the draft, or you get a receiver in the draft, or you have some type of offensive upgrade. The excuses are absolutely gone. You don't have Staley by you anymore. You don't have an Anthony Lynn by you anymore. You have everything you need to be successful. It's up to you to succeed. And if you don't succeed, get ready for everything to come hard on you. And it's going to be coming at you fast, and you're going to be in trouble. That's where Herbert's at, right? And we've seen him with quarterbacks at so many different times. I think you're also seeing that with Tua right now, where the excuses are done with Tua. There's no more excuses Tua can make, and he really underperformed in the playoffs this year. Justin Fields, the situation with him's, alarming right now, and what the Bears are going to do, anything like that. No excuse for him anymore. That's a guy that's kind of going through the same thing. Lamar Jackson kind of reached that like a little bit this past year. I think he kind of ended that argument, so to speak, in a way. Josh Allen's another one that's kind of going through the same. So it's everything like that. It's a time for Herbert to kind of shut up and show out or be embarrassed. And Dave, you're already smiling. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm getting pre-worked up. So let's just get into this QB rankings.
Hold on, man. This is a perfect
What?
time to get into it. I love how you mentioned Justin Fields, who is guaranteed not to be in the playoffs. And then you mentioned Lamar Jackson, who has 2 MVPs, number 1 seed. I mean, the fact that
got lucky with the
you're all
MVP
over
this
Lamar
year.
Jackson all the time, and then you go after Justin Fields like they're in the same class. They aren't even close to the same class. You just hate the Ravens.
No, they're not in the same class, but I will always stand by that. Like, did Lamar really earn MVP this year?
Yes.
Like the first one? 100% did. Okay, fine.
Who would have been MVP? Who else? You want?
I mean,
Hey, let's Mario.
it's
Out
not
of
a QB
50
award?
first place votes, hold on. Out of 50 first place votes, how many do you think Lamar got? Do you know the answer?
I mean, I know the answer, but I don't remember off the top of my head.
Just take a guess. Out of 50, what do you think he got?
40.
49.
That's
Are you
all
the
I
one?
wasn't one of the voters.
Yeah, you're the one.
Sure. I'll take the one. I just really, if you watched every quarterback this year and thought he does of all the quarterbacks, he played the best, and then you watch every player in the NFL and you're like, all right, he was the best this year, then okay. But I just don't think so. I think it
Dude,
should
you
not
giving
only
it
did
to?
he have
I think
not only did he have
CMC
the-
would have been a more valuable option. In terms
not
like,
only
of
did
how
he have
good
the
he was
number
in
1
production.
seed, they were in the toughest conference. The AFC is tougher than the NFC, and he lost his number 1 receiver.
And what was his numbers? Let's see where he ranks in the QBs.
Dude, he won the MVP, 49-1. What are we doing here?
Wait a minute. Wait, why
You
he
just
was
hate
in
Lamar
top 10 and
Jackson,
he was in
and you
top
hate
10
the
in passing
Ravens.
yards? What? Wait, that means he must have been top 10 in passing touchdowns. Oh, he was 11th? What? That's
You don't have
crazy.
to throw the ball when you're kicking everybody's ass.
Yeah, when you're winning.
Yeah.
When you're winning.
God bless the defense coming through, hey? Jesus
Dude,
Christ.
Hey, it's a team sport.
First place in the toughest
Yeah.
division, first place in the toughest conference. And he lost
right.
to Mark Andrews.
Well, let's get to the rankings.
Yeah, let's get into this.
All right, this
I would
is a
love
good
to talk
time.
about
Let's
this.
get into this. All right.
How are we
All
going
right,
to do
we're
this?
going to list.
What do you want
We're
to
going to
start?
list our
We have
top
to-
quarterbacks. Now,
Yeah, we're going to list. Yeah, go ahead.
when we had our homework assignment, we said, guys, let's list our top quarterbacks on this show. And because we know it's in my opinion, this is going to be the funniest show going, because it's going to be everyone turning on each other. It's going to be Lord of the Flies in here. The thing is, I immediately did 32 because there are 32 teams. Why wouldn't I do 32? Josh, how many did you do?
32.
Mario, how many did you do?
So, I took it as we're doing 10.
Why?
And I'd like to
Why?
add for all the what?
Why
Why?
10?
Why would
Because
you
last
assume
time
that?
we did this, we did 5. So I was like, oh, I bet we're doing 10. Because if it's going to do a full show, we're going to do 10. And I literally did 3. Like, it just took me like 3 to 4 hours to do. And I was also, hand up. Also was doing like a bunch of other work. Just saying, hashtag a little bit busy.
Work.
It was cutting a lot of promos. It was really annoying because I
That's what they
hate
call
nothing
that?
more than cutting promos. Yeah, it sucks. Cutting promos is what. All right, never mind. It's not that bad. I love it, but yeah, it's the same thing. Voice in your head over and over again. You go a little nuts. But anyways, I have 10. And I finished my 10. I kept switching guys in and out. It's a pretty heated 10. I like to add to everyone that you guys put the 32 up pretty quickly. So I think there's some cheating going on. And I just want to make sure that everyone listening, that
What?
make sure you write every 32 down and make sure you're not cheating from some website.
Go ahead.
Not cheating. I literally watch the NFL every week. What are you talking about?
Just making
Why
sure.
would I cheat?
I did mine.
Okay.
Okay. I did mine different than Dave's list because Dave told me how he did his. He chose
Okay.
a quarterback for every team in the NFL. 32 teams, 32 quarterbacks. I did the 32 best quarterbacks. So some teams don't have a quarterback on my list. I just chose
Fair.
the 32 best quarterbacks. So 2 different lists. There's no collusion here, Mario, if that's what you're going to go with.
Yeah, Josh and I are too competitive. We aren't going to do that. All right, so I guess we might as well do our top 10, and then Mario and Josh and I will tell you who our other 22 are. Is that what we're doing to make this thing work?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
fine.
did mine by tiers. But hey, whatever. We could go top 10.
Oh, that's what we did last time was tiers. That's what we did last time was tiers.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay.
We can go top
Yeah.
10.
Okay.
Mario,
So who's going
All right.
first? Yeah, you put 4 hours into it. You got to go first.
yeah, you might as well go first.
Okay.
Have you ever studied for a test in your entire life for 4 hours?
Yeah, dude,
Really?
I always crammed. Oh, dude, one of my favorite things to do in college was to not pay attention and then just spend 1 week full of all-nighters, just a lot of cups of coffee, and you're just and lock yourself in a library. You take about a 2-hour break, you play a little blackjack online, get the enthusiasm going, get the blood flowing back again, and you go back and study. It was a
I
heated
hope your
room.
mom's
Yep.
watching this.
I
Hope your
hope so
mom's
too,
watching this. Thinking she paid
then
for
we
that
bet.
college diploma.
Hey, I got paid too while I was studying because we'd bet Korean baseball at 2 in the morning and we'd win some money. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
KBO, you
Big
sicko.
KBO fan? What the hell's going on?
I mean, shout out Graham Jager, baby. He always came in with the locks on it. We'd
Oh
be
my
like
gosh.
halfway through studying, and he goes, "Guys, I really think this team's gonna win. I really like their starting pitcher." Like, all right, here we go.
I
All right,
like your mom
anyways.
paid for 3.5 months of education, but your goal was to do nothing.
Hey, did a lot. It was a 3-time dean's list, baby. All right,
Good for you. That's awesome. I never was.
that's what it is. All right,
All right, let's top
at number
10.
10. At number 10, this one hurt me, pretty bad to put. Hurt really bad to put. Jordan Love at 10.
Okay.
Jordan Love, I put
Josh,
at 10.
do you have him in your top 10?
Yeah, he's number 10 for me.
Don't say the number. What
Yeah,
number?
sorry.
Don't
Yeah.
say the number.
Okay. He's in
We
my
already
top
said
10.
Yeah.
I don't have him in my
back
top
half.
10.
The back half stats for me is what does it. Since October 29th, 258 pass yards per game, just under 2 passing touchdowns per game, multiple games of 30
50
touchdowns.
yards, 258 yards per game.
258 yards. Yeah, like he was phenomenal. The way he played, I think, in that matchup, besides the last drive against the Niners, I think he played phenomenal. He solidified himself as the QB1 for Green Bay. He looked incredible. His QBR in that span was also fantastic. Like Josh, it sucked to write him down. It really, really sucked. But the other guy I had was deciding between, I really have no faith in. So for me, it was Jordan Love.
Okay. I don't have him on my top 10.
All right, he's in mine. So what do you got next, Mario?
Okay, Mario, what do you got 9?
Oh, well, who do you have at 10, Dave? Or do like
No,
that?
I'm not
We're
just
going
gonna-
through mine.
No. I want you to just fire through. And then I want to see if we have everybody matched up in the top 10. How many of them even match? You go first.
Okay. So number 9. Again, this guy, I'd like to add, he was out of my top 10 for the longest time. And then this morning he got put back in. And I'm just kind of mad at putting it back in. Whatever. Brock Purdy.
Okay.
I'm still not the biggest Brock Purdy guy. Go ahead, Josh.
No, I was gonna say he's in my top 10 also. He's a winner.
He's not in my top 10. Not in my top 10.
Wow.
I respect that though, because I struggled with it. I really didn't want to put him in.
And I did this in my head, just so you know, my grading was if I had 1 year to run a franchise, like if 2024 was the only year I was going to run a franchise for this 1 year, would I want that guy playing quarterback? And I didn't pick him in my top 10. I thought I would, but I didn't. Go ahead, Mario. Number 8.
All right. Number 8 is where it's going to get a little dicey, where people in the chat might make fun of me a little bit, people want to come at me and really, really start to hate me. And it's Justin Fields.
Oh
my
God,
not Justin Fields. I'm kidding. It's not. It's not Fields. It's not Fields.
Over Brock Purdy. I was like, what in the world?
No. This is a one that I'll probably catch a little heat for, but I was impressed. CJ Stroud's my number 8. So he played in what I would say 3 playoff games this year. I count the Colts game and week 18 as a playoff game. Yes. Just in those 2 games, Colts 20 for 26, 264 yards, 2 touchdowns versus Browns, the so-called best defense in the NFL. 16-21, 274 yards and 3 touchdowns. Dominated. Oh, and by the way, that receiving core, Josh, is still not the strongest. And they looked good with him, but they don't look good without him.
Josh, do you have him in your top 10?
He's in my top 10.
He's in my top 10 too.
All right. We're on the roll, gentlemen. Great minds think alike. Number 7, another guy that I really struggled to put him. I didn't know where to put this guy. Catches a lot of heat. So again, I didn't know where to put him. 7's Jared Goff. He's led 2 different teams, one to a Super Bowl, one to an NFC Championship. They're at the Lions, which is pretty much as a Super Bowl. His stats this year was outstanding. 2nd in passing yards, 4th in passing touchdowns, 11th QBR, only 12 interceptions all the year. Made plays when he needs to for the Detroit Lions. And, you can ding him what you want, but he performs at the end of the day. And he puts up stats, he puts up numbers. And he's not a bad QB. So I'll put him at 7.
Josh, you have him in the top 10?
Absolutely. Top 10 quarterback for sure.
I do not.
Your list sucks.
Yeah, your list sucks.
We got to get into your list. I'm very excited for your horrible list.
Your list sucks. I'm guessing you still have Rodgers and you have Prescott in yours.
Relax. Let's see.
Yeah, you do. Got you.
You don't know what I have.
Number 6. It's our beloved King. Justin Herbert's my number 6.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I have him in my top 10. I have him in my top 5.
Yeah.
I have him in my top 10 too.
I have him just outside of top 5. Just outside. Knocking on the door. But I think there's a difference between why he's not. And it's because my number 5 is Jalen Hurts. And the reason why I went to Herbert at 6th is 1, like, you got to include the playoffs. Like, I'm sorry, but that counts. And 2 is, has Herbert had an MVP year yet? Like, has Herbert been in the MVP conversation, actually, besides maybe us just spoon up before the season? Has he really been in it? Because Herbert's been in it. And every guy above him has been in it. But Herbert has not been in it. So if he hasn't been in it, then I don't think he should be in the top 5. I think he should just sit outside of it. Because besides his rookie year, where we're all, like, astonished by it, I don't think there's at one point in time when we've been like, Justin Herbert MVP is a very serious thing right now, where we're going to week 15, week 16, week 17, and he's in it. He's in it for real. We haven't seen that. I'm sorry, but he sits outside of the top 5 guys right now.
Okay.
Valid.
He's in my top 10.
You didn't say anything that was wrong. It's very valid.
All right. I'm already seeing guys in the chat coming at me. Shout out Jake Cameron. Let it rip, baby. Let it rip. Get a little personal if you want to. All right. So yeah, 5th, Jalen Hurts, Super Bowl appearance, MVP argument. I'm at 4th.
He's not in my top 10.
Jalen Hurts, not in your top 10.
Just wait for my list. You gotta wait for my list. Not in my top 10.
Okay.
He's in my top 10.
Okay. My 4th, I think he got forgot about this year a little bit, and I just don't want people to forget about him, and that's Joe Burrow. Just one fun fact. He's the only active QB in the NFL that's knocked out Mahomes in the playoffs.
Okay.
He's in my top 10.
Yes.
My top 10 too.
The one thing I will say, though, is his sometimes his regular season stats, he's kind of like Kawhi Leonard a little bit. In that reason where, like, he's obviously up there, but sometimes regular season stats are like, all right, well, you don't like, they don't really hang with everyone, like everything, but like Joe Burrow is definitely my 4. Number 3, I ripped on him. I don't think he's really deserved MVP this year, but it's Lamar Jackson at 3 with 2 MVPs and 1 playoff run. So I'll give him that 2.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely in my top 5.
Yep.
He's in my top 10.
Dave? Okay.
He's in my top 10.
You guys are definitely going to disagree with this. I know the Palais are going to disagree with this. Josh Allen's my number 2.
He's my number 3.
Okay.
Yeah, he's great.
Number 3. Okay.
He's in my top 10.
Hey, I'll take. He's not in your top 10?
He is in my top 10, of course.
Oh, I was about to say, Dave, who the hell you putting in there? Yeah, Josh Allen. Yeah, Josh Allen's my number 2. Obviously, interception's a ding, but he's been the constant player that's just been knocking and knocking on Mahomes' door. The reason why he's above Burrow is because of his stats during the regular season that are just unbeatable. The 36 passing touchdowns, 21, 35, and 22. Almost, 1 pass away from 2023 of over 30. The success rate's insane for him. And healthy plays. He plays. Availability, guys.
Dude,
he's my
I like how you just go over interceptions like it's not a key stat. Oh, yeah, of course he gets dinged from the interceptions. You just keep talking. I mean, dude, he's a fumble machine, too. Sam Darnold's like, dude, he's kind of a mess over there.
He has a lot of – he does – okay, but he has a lot of arm pump arm punts. Like he just has that. We're like, all right, that was just an arm punt. And if a lot of QBs, like Fitzpatrick said, this interview, he goes, the amount of times if I was a QB really wanted to risk and like really wanted to fit or throw in that window, like my interception would be really high too. Just every other QB goes, no, I'm not going to do that. And then like the Brett Favre and the Josh Allen guys and even like Mahomes in a way, it's just like, you know what? No, I'm going to zip it in there as fast as I can. I'll take the bad with the good with Josh Allen. Number one is probably everyone's number one. It's not hard. It's Patrick Mahomes. He's him and Brady sit alone at the top of the best QBs of all time. And I don't think it's really much of an argument.
Yeah, actually, Mara, you and I added your top 10. 3 of them I have in the exact same spot.
Oh, alrighty.
I'll give you that.
Alrighty.
Okay.
All right.
So, yeah, you go, Dave. I got to hear this.
No, I'll go last.
Yeah.
Let's go. We'll
you go last.
I'll go last.
I'll just run through mine kind of quick. I think Mario hit on a lot of the quarterbacks and who they are. Jordan Love's my number 10, just like Mario. I mean, we saw the Charger game. He went off. And if you look at his numbers, one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL last year. He had 32 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. I think he's definitely a top 10 quarterback, and he won a playoff game. So I think that solidifies him in the top 10 for me. I know Dave doesn't have him in the top 10. Number 9, I got Brock Purdy. He has more touchdowns than people would guess. He also has 30-plus touchdowns. He has 31 with 11 interceptions, makes it to the Super Bowl 2 years in a row. I think winning is definitely a quarterback stat, or a quarterback has a big part to do with the winning. So you should got to take that into account. And Brock Purdy is a top 10 quarterback. Number 8 is CJ Stroud. Like Mario said, played really good when it matters the most. And he was the best rookie player last year. He's going to be a top quarterback for years to come. I don't think anybody can really argue that. CJ Stroud's my number 8. Number 7, Mario didn't have him in his top 10, is Dak Prescott. 36 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, led the NFL in touchdown passes. He was amazing. Obviously, he loses his playoff game again, but for the regular season, he was right there towards the top with Lamar Jackson. I thought for the MVP conversation, he's my number 7. Number 6, Jared Goff.
Let's pause for a second on
What?
Dak, because he's not in my top 10, so I'm just going to touch on it real quick. He's
Okay.
always had a ton of weapons. He's always had a running
Yeah.
back. He's always had a tight end. He's always had big-time wide receivers. Dak hasn't won jack.
Hasn't won anything.
Jared Goff and him were drafted the same year, and yet Jared Goff has outplayed him as far as his resume goes. And so for Dak to get any credit at all, I think is just ridiculous.
All right. Well,
Just
the
my
guys
feeling.
below him didn't win anything either. So Dak
Okay.
Prescott for his great regular season, I'll put him as number 7. He was great in the regular season. That's what he does. Number 6, Jared Goff. To me, what do you have, Mario?
No, this is a funny Dak stat. Dak's 2 wins in the playoffs, 18 and 15 combined opponent record. The lowest win percentage in playoff wins amongst 109 QBs to win multiple games.
Dude, Dak Prescott and Kirk Cousins are very similar. I understand where you're going with this.
Yeah,
but he had a great regular season, which puts him in the top 10 for me.
I get it.
He's a NFL veteran. Like by now he should have done more. He hasn't done enough.
I'm not arguing that. I'm saying you don't think he's a top 10 quarterback because he doesn't win the playoffs, and I totally understand your point.
That's not. I have guys on my thing that looks the same way on that argument. But I'm just saying the Cowboys have done a lot to support Dak, and he hasn't done anything.
Once again, I agree. He had 36 touchdowns. 36. Okay. He's going to be in your top 10. All right. Number 6, Number 6, Jared Goff. To me, he leads the most fun offense in the NFL. If you like football, you like watching the Lions. Obviously, they were like America's sweetheart this year. You wanted them to make it to the Super Bowl. Jared Goff, to me, is definitely a top 10 quarterback. He's number 6 on my list, 30 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Number 5, I have Joe Burrow. And I thought Joe Burrow was a top 2 quarterback going into last season. He gets hurt again. The best ability is availability, and Joe Burrow has gotten hurt twice now and missed tons of games. But when he's healthy, I think Joe Burrow is absolutely a top 5 quarterback. Number 4 is our sweet prince, Justin Herbert. Have him higher than people that aren't Charger fans probably, but I think he's absolutely a top 5 quarterback. 20 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. He needs to have great numbers next year, like I said. Number 3, Josh Allen.
If you walked into a bar in Cincinnati, they
think I'm crazy.
You walked into a bar in Cincinnati, and just yelled out, "Justin Herbert's better than Joe Burrow." How fast do you get punched in the face?
Like immediately.
Yeah,
immediately. But Joe Burrow
Stop
hasn't
surfing
won the
this guy,
Super
he's
Bowl.
drunk.
Yeah, Joe Burrow hasn't won the Super Bowl yet, and he's missed 2
been there.
seasons.
Yeah,
He's
but
also
you make
been
a good.
sitting on the IR.
Yeah, I was about to say
What?
you make a good point. 2 season-ending injuries like that pretty early in his career. That's scary.
Yeah, and the
Dude, it
guy that
wasn't
stepped
like he
in
did
for
it-
him did great.
Yeah, but it wasn't like he did it himself. It wasn't like he just went back and something snapped, right? They couldn't protect him.
Wait, Josh, quickly. Breaking. When you get hurt in the NFL, you don't do it yourself. Like,
Yeah,
dude,
what are
of
you
course you
talking
didn't do
about?
it
Yeah,
himself.
non-contact
What are you
injuries. That's
saying?
Drake Greenlaw. That's Drake Greenlaw. That's a big difference. Just running out on the field and you blow something out. The difference is
Yeah.
when your offensive line can't protect you. It's not his fault he's 160 pounds.
Say that to Phillip Rivers. He had nobody
Okay.
blocking for him for years. He's got in there every
Philip
game. That's why I
Rivers
love
never
that.
missed a game. Guess
Yeah,
what?
front
He doesn't have
seven's my
anything on
guy.
the resume. He has an empty trophy case.
I don't get your point. I didn't get that point.
What do you mean?
Rivers
Rivers played in like 220 something straight games or whatever the hell that number was, and yet he didn't win anything.
What does Joe Burrow
Dude.
won?
Yeah.
Joe Burrow went to the Super Bowl.
You get a trophy for
Okay.
that?
You actually do. You get a ring. You get an AFC championship ring.
Do you think any girl at the bar is like, let me see your AFC championship ring? Nobody gives a S.
You know what? He
Don't
says,
even
I would
go-
show it
like-
to you, but I got a national championship ring you might like even more because I'm a winner.
Yeah, then she drops the Jim Harbaugh line. We only care about Lombardis around here. Next.
Yeah.
All right,
That's what you
here we
say
go.
too, John. I mean, Dave, you're all about the Lombardi over the.
Oh, I
whatever the
am. You're
hell
going to
that's
see it in my
called.
top
Yeah.
10 list in a second.
All
Double
right.
standard, Dave. All right, number 2, I have Lamar Jackson. I mean, what else we got to say? He sucks in the
I got nothing
playoffs.
to
I mean,
say.
he's just not very good in the playoffs. That's the big ding on him. But I can't say Josh Allen is, so much better. Josh Allen hasn't made it to the Super Bowl yet. So I'm going to go Lamar Jackson. Number 2, wins the MVP. Number 1, Patrick Mahomes. Absolutely wrecked my fantasy team this year, too. He was not that good during the regular season. And fun fact, 0 rushing touchdowns for Patrick Mahomes this season. But he is the number 1 quarterback. I think he's the second greatest of all time. I know Joe Montana is up there, but I'll take Patrick Mahomes.
All right.
Yep.
All right. So I'm trying to think how many you guys at least have left off 2 of my guys. Now, look, when I put my list together, I put my list together again with the attitude of 2024 was the only season that I was have to go with this quarterback. Okay. I'm not going for futures, anything else.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So here we go. Number 10 on my list is CJ Stroud. Okay.
Okay. Yep.
Number 9 on my list is Jalen Hurts.
All right. Go. Fine.
Okay.
He's not in my top 10.
Next, I know. And the funny thing is you actually know him, which is crazy. Then the next 2
That just shows how real I am. That just shows how real I am. I tell the truth.
does it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Separate the art from the person.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
The next one especially going to lose your mind, but the one after, I want to hear what your argument back is. The next one on my list, number 8, Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
Why?
I'm surprised you aren't screaming at me. Why?
Yeah.
He has
Why?
a Super
Why is he
Bowl.
in your top 10?
Why?
He has a Lombardi and he has a bunch of MVPs.
You hold on a second.
I didn't
You
hit
said-
puberty the last time you won a Super Bowl.
What?
Dude, you just hit puberty 6 months ago. Doesn't count.
Oh,
That was you weren't supposed to tell anybody about that. That was in our group message.
you're a little
Sorry.
key.
It's
You can't, dude. Come on, man. Last time he won the Super Bowl was like the iPhone just came out. That's how long ago that
Not
was.
true. That's not true.
Oh, you're right. But still, it was a long time ago.
So you want just so you'd want him in 1 year coming off an Achilles, that old for 1 year.
1
You'd
year.
want that.
1 year. I would take.
After by the way,
Who goes further?
Okay, go ahead.
Who goes further? Aaron Rodgers, quarterback with the Dallas Cowboys, or Dak Prescott?
Dak
Neither.
Prescott.
No way, dude.
go
Rodgers
the
takes
same
the
distance.
Cowboys further. What did you say?
Did you go the same how he is right now? Did you see what he did in a weak NFC the past decade? He owned the
He's
NFC
winning
North and did
MVPs.
nothing about it.
He's going to say it was all everyone else's fault. I don't know what to tell you. I'm telling you, I put
Yeah.
him on my list.
And you want that guy for 1 year that blames everyone else? That's
Dude, I don't want him at all. I don't even like him as a person. But I'm just telling you, if I had to
8
choose,
out of 32.
yeah, 8. Well, dude, I'm not worried about liking the guy. I'm just telling you, I think he takes a team. Top 8
Right.
guy. Would you
Awesome.
take?
Can we-
Okay. Does he do better than Brock Purdy with the 49ers?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, well, if he does better than Brock Purdy with the Niners, that means he's a top 10 quarterback.
Bad morale guy. I'll take Brock Purdy.
CJ Stroud would do better than Purdy.
Okay, I have CJ Stroud ahead of Purdy. What are you yelling at me for?
I'm just saying. No, I'm just saying. Like, okay, take said good Hall of Fame QB and put him in the best offensive system in the NFL. What's gonna happen versus the second-year QB? Oh, I don't know.
All right.
Like, what do you mean?
My list.
All right, who do you have at number 7?
Shout out Ryan Culpepper, who said Dave showing his old man bias for the old man. I like that.
Dude, I'm not a fan of Aaron Rodgers. I'm telling you right now, as a person, I'm not a fan. As a football player, honestly, he might be one of the best quarterbacks I've ever seen. All right, here we go. Number 7. I'm shocked you guys didn't put him in the list. It's Matthew Stafford.
Yeah. I thought about it.
How come you guys didn't put him in the list? Guy won a Super Bowl. He's the only guy outside of Brady and Mahomes to win one in the last 5 years. You know?
You said for 2024, who would you take?
Yeah, 1 year.
That's what our list is.
Stafford was good last year.
He was fine. I'm taking the other guys ahead of him.
Okay. Well, I know you are. I saw your list.
Yeah.
All right. I'm just saying, you guys both threw him away. Next one, you're going to lose your. Oh, sorry. Next one, you won't lose your mind. Next one, I had him exactly where Mario had him. It's Justin Herbert, number 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Is everyone's feelings hurt right now? Because it got really quiet. All
right.
We're
just, it's going to be a 2-hour show if we don't hurry up, but whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's my turn, so we don't have time for that guy. All right. Here we go. Number 5. Nobody mentioned him. Tua. Tua's my guy.
I love Tua. I love Tua. He's not a top 5 quarterback.
He's not top 5 either.
Most accurate passer.
What's your argument? I want to hear your argument.
Most accurate passer in the NFL.
He's not, though.
Sorry, he lost when it was
interceptions
60 below to Kansas City.
Yeah, I love Tua.
Chris Jones is breathing down his neck.
So that's okay. Okay. Well, Burrow won in. Burrow won in KC with Jones breathing down his neck.
It wasn't 60 degrees below.
And
dude, you know those Dolphin guys? They can't play in the cold.
Oh, now we're back. And now we're back.
You know it's hard to win in turquoise pants. You ever try to win a big football game wearing turquoise pants?
That is true.
I can't believe Child Culpepper again. You're on fire. Keep killing it.
Name the
putting Tua over
Culpepper. I'm sorry, I can't even read your comments until the show's over because it doesn't show up on my side. But look, here's the deal. Name the last team to win a big game wearing turquoise pants. Never happened.
How many playoff wins?
Should have gone white on white. All right, I'm just saying.
How many playoff wins does Tua have?
Dude, he beat the hell out of Herbert in game 1 in LA last year.
Oh,
all right.
Okay.
So that's why he's ranked ahead of Justin. All right. Number 4 is Josh Allen. Okay. No argument. Number 3 is Lamar Jackson. Number 2, when healthy, is Joe Burrow.
All right.
And number 1 is obviously Patrick Mahomes, which I freaking hate saying. I hate it.
Yeah, I hate it too.
Okay. All right. It's
not a bad top 10. It's not bad.
Okay. I'm gonna get real quick. Let me read this to you real fast. You guys freak out all you want. Let me just count down since I did the work. Okay. Number 32, Bailey Zappi. Number 31, Desmond Ridder. Number 30, Aiden O'Connell. 29, Kenny Pickett. 28, Bryce Young. 27, Russell Wilson. 26, Daniel Jones. 25, Derek Carr. 24, Anthony Richardson. 23, Geno Smith. 22, Will Levis. 21, Sam Howell. 20, Deshaun Watson. Sorry, Mario. Number 19 is Justin Fields. Number 18, Baker Mayfield. 17, Josh is Dak Prescott. 16 is Trevor Lawrence. 15, Kirk Cousins. 14, Kyler Murray. 13, Jordan Love. 12, Jared Goff. And 11 is Brock Purdy.
Dak's a little low.
Jared Goff's low.
On that one. Yeah.
Okay.
Those are really low.
Josh, fire out your last 22. Count backwards.
Yeah.
And then yours are again quarterbacks, not just you don't match teams like I do.
32 best quarterbacks. I'll tell you, I even had the four guys out of the top 32. I got Ryan Tannehill, Josh Dobbs, Mac Jones, AOC out of my top 32. So 32 down to 10. 32 Jimmy G, 31 Desmond Ridder, 30 Jake Browning, 29 Will Levis, 28 Bryce Young, 27 Daniel Jones, 26 Deshaun Watson, 25 Sam Howell, 24 Joe Flacco, 23 Derek Carr, who has better numbers than I thought. I think Derek Carr is terrible. 23 Derek Carr, 22 Anthony Richardson, 21 Justin Fields, 20, Geno
That's worse than me.
Smith. 20, Geno Smith. 19, Russell Wilson, who also had better numbers than I thought. 18, Kyler Murray. 17, Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
16, Baker Mayfield. 15, Trevor Lawrence. 14, Kirk Cousins. 13, Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts' numbers are inflated to me. I think he's a good quarterback, but the 15 rushing touchdowns, and a lot of them were from 1 yard out, inflates his numbers. He also had 15 interceptions. 12 is Matt Stafford. 11 is Tua.
So I'll say this. I think the Baker in front of Rodgers was a little nuts.
What do you think Baker's
I
numbers were
get it.
last year? Touchdowns,
They were
interceptions.
good last year. But for 1
they're
year,
really good.
And he won a playoff game.
But I think there's
Wait, did
gonna be
he?
regression.
I think he did. Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Sorry.
I think regression's gonna come because I think Evans walks out and they're gonna get a new OC in there. So I think regression's gonna come from him a little bit. I'd have Rodgers a little bit higher than that. I think Rodgers would be in like my old like 11, 12 range. But that one, I would have Lawrence, by the way, probably a lot lower than people think.
I agree. I'm shocked he had Lawrence
Yeah.
so high. Lawrence has been a huge disappointment.
I'm at 15. Where did you have him?
Hit him at 19, right?
And
I think he had
and
him
I
right
think
in
I
front
had
of
Fields at 19. I had where the hell did I have Trevor? I had him at 16. Sorry.
Dude, calm
16.
down. I'm one spot
I just
higher than
think
you.
Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, it's top 15, top 16 sounds a lot different.
I think we're gonna have I think this time next year we're gonna say like the Dolphins or even some point in this next season. I think we're gonna have a conversation like I think the Dolphins and the Jaguars have a Tua and Lawrence problem. Like I think that's a very realistic situation that we're gonna be in.
Yeah. No, I don't think you're crazy.
I think
the
Jacksonville already
argument
has a Trevor Lawrence problem.
Fair.
Yeah, he wasn't good.
I mean, they're in a horrible division, dude. What's the deal? Why isn't he putting up big time numbers?
I don't know. I have no idea. The Herbert Tua conversation is just going to get louder, I think, next year than it has been ever, because they're going to be in year 5, and once you're in your 5th year as a quarterback, you better be like who you're going to be. So no more.
Yeah.
What is this guy? I mean, it's year 5.
And Hill's your number one option right now. And yeah, he's really good, but he's about to hit that wrong side of 30. And if he hits that, his play type, like the way he plays, relying on his speed, your speed is like the first thing that goes. So like that's gonna start declining soon. So if that starts declining, you're in a kind of a win now situation.
We'll see how it goes. All right, that was a lot of fun. That was good. A little bit of anger, a little bit of frustration. Went about the way I thought it was going to go.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments who you guys agreed with the most. And if
please.
it's okay if it's me. Yeah.
It's okay if it's me. Nice subtle hint right there. All right. So here's the deal. If you listen to the Bolt City podcast, the Odyssey app, we appreciate it. Again, if you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much. Please give us that thumbs up. We definitely need it. And again, we're looking at all the comments. So if you leave a comment, and I'm sure we're going to see a bunch of them today because everybody has an idea of who their favorite quarterback is or who they would take to win a Super Bowl. It's going to be awesome. We love this stuff. So again, please leave the comments. Again, thanks for watching on YouTube. So for Mario Heron, for Josh Palais, I'm Dave Palais. We'll see you next time.
Before we go, just like to add, I'm going to go ahead and stop the count. I'm up 3. Dave has 1. Josh is 0. The count stops. Congratulations. Mario Heron takes it. Thanks, guys.